Do you ever wonder if you married the wrong person? I know for most of us, we prayed, we asked the Lord to show us if this is a person we should marry. I know I did. I asked the Lord clearly, the Lord, please show me in a way that I can understand that she's the person I should marry. And the Lord clearly showed me that yes, indeed, she's the one. But over time, as we begin to notice their weaknesses, their personality flaws, their character flaws, and we come to a place where we feel like we are not even compatible, then we wonder, how did I marry this person? We have nothing in common. Now, in this conversation, we are not talking about relationships that are abusive, but we are talking about our day-to-day interaction with our spouses that over time make us wonder, did we marry the right person? We have nothing in common. You see, I've been married for 37 years, and my wife and I are very much the opposite. We think differently, we reason differently, we even have different interests. But these are some of the things I'm going to share, are some of the things that I learned over these 37 years to look at marriage through the right lens. Because most of us, we view our marriages through our own point of view instead of God's. We tend to think God brought me a right person, and this person is going to make me fulfilled, and I will be happy, and I am sure that this is a person that God has selected for me. And we usually evaluate things on the basis of how things make us feel. But God's goal for us is deeper than that. His goal for us is to conform us to the likeness of Christ, to the likeness of Jesus, because ultimately that's where the true fulfillment is. When we begin to see character qualities that are being developed in us, that are compassionate, loving, caring, forgiving, these qualities ultimately make us to be happy in our own skin, make us happy and fulfilled in who we are becoming. But sometimes the things that frustrates us about our spouses are the exact things that God uses over time to shape our character. If we would have married someone that were totally perfect for us, how would we ever learn patience? How would we ever learn to love someone when we don't feel like it? How would we ever learn forgiveness, humility, and self-control? You see, these qualities don't grow in comfort. They don't grow in ease. They usually grow in tension, in hardship, in the struggle of life. In Romans chapter 5, verse 3, Apostle Paul tells us, tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character. And character produces hope. Now, these words can be applied to many different contexts, but they are especially interesting in the context of marriage. And some of these key words are very rich in their meaning. The first word is tribulation. This doesn't mean some mild inconveniences, but it literally means pressure, to be squeezed, to be pressed down. In marriage, these pressure points are the frustrations, the differences of opinion, the disappointments, the areas where we are not compatible, that we get pressured, we get squeezed, we get pressed down. But this, if we stay the course, would produce in us perseverance. And the word perseverance is not that we passively endure or we passively tolerate, but it's an active steadfast endurance, where we remain under pressure without running away. In the marriage context, it is the choice to stay in marriage in spite of how we feel and what we think, and to react out of the way God would have us react. This is what it means to persevere, to stay the course, but not just passively, but in the way that God would have us be. But this, in due time, develops character. And the word character here means proven character, tested virtue. It's the kind of quality that comes from passing through fire. It was actually used for testing the metal by fire to remove impurity. In marriage, God uses these frictions, the differences, the misunderstanding, the differences of opinion as like a fire to gradually remove impurity from our character and to form us, to shape us more into Christ-like character. And that in turn produces hope. Now, the word hope here is not wishful thinking, but it means confidence, expectation, assurance, a settled certainty about God's goodness. We become shaped by God through the difficulties of life, through the struggles of life, through all the frictions and issues of marriage. This is how God takes a self-centered person and gradually over time produces in them giving person, creates in them a caring person, a loving person. You see, unfortunately, we are not how we were made to be. Before the fall, we were God-centered, but after the fall, we become self-centered. I want everything to conform to my liking, to be in a way that is pleasing to me. But if we were that way, God created a condition that was that way, we would never change. We remain self-centered. We would remain with all of our bad qualities. Those Christ-like qualities get shaped through the struggles of life. As we stay the course and we do things God's way, in spite of how we may feel, what we may think, or how things may appear to us, to stay the course. This is God's process of character formation. Marriage is one of the primary places where this process happens. You see, the selection of our spouses was not random. Your spouse, with all their flaws and all their shortcomings, were handpicked just for you, because God knows what we are like, who we are. And He selects a person that indeed is the right person, but not in a way that we think. Not in a way that we think, okay, now everything in life is going to be just peaches and cream. But someone who may be the opposite of us. But because of the commitment that we made before God, we are going to stay in this marriage and we're going to stay the course. But as we stay the course, we don't want to just behave passively or behave in a way that is fleshly, but we want to behave in a way that God would have us behave, irregardless of what the other person does, irregardless of how they behave. This is how God changes us and make us to become more like Christ. You see, the real question isn't, did I marry the wrong person? The real question is, am I willing to let God use this person with all of their imperfection, with all their quirks, to conform me to the likeness of Christ. Because ultimately, that's where the true happiness and fulfillment resides, if I become more Christ-like. And over time, many things that used to irritate us initially because of our spouse's reactions or behavior, over time, we may see that they were not as big a deal as we thought they were. We adjust to them, and they no longer bother us the way they used to. So, my whole goal in making this video is to make us realize that even though at this moment we may feel like we made a mistake, or we have nothing in common, how did we end up being together? Why did God allow this even though I asked Him over and over, is this the right person? Maybe it is, but we are not just looking at it through the right lens. But if we look at it through the light of God's goal in conforming us to the likeness of Christ, maybe our spouses were exactly what was needed to change us and to make us become more like Christ. So, until next time, may the Lord be with you. May He watch over you. May He make His face to shine upon you. This is David Sami with A Christian Journey.